Adonai Svatai Tifta. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Adonai Svatai Tifta. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Ufiagin Tehilatecha.
Well, Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is truly an honor to welcome all of you here to this Kol Nidre Eve, the most sacred and sanctified night on our Jewish calendar. A time for serious reflection and prayer as each of us takes moments to look inward, giving up our physical needs of food and drink, and therefore concentrating on the spiritual needs of how we need to better ourselves. To help us best set the tone for the holiday, I share with you this 18th century Hasidic story. It's about Rabbi Baruch's grandson, Yechiel, who is playing hide and seek with another boy. He hid himself well and waited for his playmate to find him. And after a long time, he came from his hiding place, but the other was nowhere in sight. Now he realized that the boy did not even look for him. Weeping, he came to his grandfather to complain of his faithless friend. And Rabbi Baruch's eyes also brimmed with tears. And he said, "You know, God says the same thing about us. I hide, but no one seeks me." Yom Kippur is all about the personal search. And as we join together in our search, we welcome you within our congregation, together with those who are watching us over our live webcast. Many away at school, some still at work, some unable to travel, and others still bound in the hospital or in rehab. To all of them, we say Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova. May renewed health and well-being be their gift. Well, we're going to begin our service as we now turn to our Machzorim, page 247. And I'd ask everyone to rise, please. Ribono shel olam, sovereign of the universe, in awe and humility, we have come here to stand before you to pray with your people Israel on our behalf. Who is fit for such a task? And yet you present to us wherever our voices rise in praise. In your great mercy, have compassion on us and on our entire congregation. Let our congregation not falter on our account, nor we on theirs. Guide the lips of those who lead your people in worship. Strengthen our faith and purify our thoughts, and let your love draw a veil over all your failings. So may our prayers ascend this day to the throne of your glory. Amen. You may be seated. There are many blessings and curses during this day of Yom Kippur. Some feel just having to read all the red parentheses is indeed an additional curse. But it is Shabbat, and therefore I call your attention that many of our prayers will be at least 1 or 2 words longer than usual. And we begin with that on page 248, where we prepare to light the Shabbat and Yom Tov candles. It's a pleasure to welcome forward our presidents, Karen Ehrenberg and Stephanie Green. Page 248.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu li'avigner, shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו והגיענו
We turn now to page 251 as we prepare for that awesome moment of taking the Torahs from the ark, eventually bringing them out within the congregation and listening to the 3 renditions of the Kol Nidre. It is a pleasure to welcome forward to open the ark doors our founders and a past president of our congregation, Mary and Barbara Howard. And always on this eve of Kol Nidre, we thank all of our leaders, those of whom who would like to come forward and receive a Torah, others who are unable to be here, but our gratitude is with them always. Risa Drazen, Kara Ehrenberg, Stephanie Green, Michael Pressman, Mark Ruderman, Jessica Wang, Ed Adler, and Lou Friedman. I'd ask everyone to rise, please, as we prepare to take the Torahs from the ark.
Zaru ala tzadik, Or zaru ala tzadik, ולשרלים שמחה. זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק, ולישרלים, ולישרלים, ולישרלים שמחה. זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק, ולישרלים, ולישרלים שמחה. זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק, זרו על הצדיק, ולישרלים, ולישרלים שמחה.
We turn in our prayer books to page 252 for the Kol Nidre, and we remain standing.
Kol Nidre v'sarei v'charamei v'konomei v'chinuyei v'kinusei u'shivut Din darna Biyom Kippurim zeh od Yom Kippurim Sharan Shvikin Shiritin Vitin Uvivutalin La Shiririn Vilam Kayamim Nidre nala isore Ushu atana la shivu arami v'konami v'chinu hiye v'kinu Vidia sarna nafshatana din dornam udish tivana Udi acharimna, Udi acharimna, Bedi asarna, Al nafshatuna, Yom Kippurim Heid Yom Kippurim Amalenu Ditua Kulhon Icharotna vihon Kulhon Yehon Sharon Yehon Sharon Yehon Shiron Shvitin, Vitelin umivutalin, Shiririn, Iloi kayamim. Nidrona lo nidre V'isarana la isare Ushivu atana la shiru
We remain standing.
Vayomer Adonai Salachti Kilorecha Vayomer Adonai Salachti Kilorecha Vayomer Adonai Salachti Kilorecha Salachti Kilorecha Kidvarecha,
We continue with the Baruch Hu, page 253, and we remain standing through the Shema.
Baruch Hu, it Adonai, Amiru
254.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, על כן אדוני אלוהינו, ושכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקך. ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו וברגנו Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto V'olam Va'en. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto V'olam Va'en.
Please be seated. We continue with the chanting of V'ahavta, page 255. Please join me.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 256. True and enduring are the words spoken by our prophets.
You are our living God.
You are the first and the last. You are the strength of our life, the power that saves us. You have been our help of our people in time of trouble. Your power was manifest when we went free out of Egypt. May your law of freedom rule the hearts of all your children. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and triumph by your power.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נידור בקודש, נורות עילות וספר, מלכות חרוב בניך, וכהיום לפני משה, זה לי הנביאים אמרו, אדוני ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב גאלו, מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך את אדוני, ברוך הוא ברוך שמו, גאל ישראל.
We continue with Hashkivenu on the top of page 258.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom, v'hamidinu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom, v'hamidinu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, v'hamidinu shomreinu l'chaim, v'hamidinu malkeinu l'chaim. U'shmor tzitinu, l'chaim u'shalom, me'ata v'ad Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom, v'hamidinu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom, v'hamidinu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, V'hamidinu Malkeinu Lichayim, Hamidinu
We continue with Vishamru. It is Shabbat after all. Please join us.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. תשמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We are on page 259. And together we read, "For on this day of atonement shall be made for you to purify you. You shall be cleansed from all your sins before the Eternal." And we rise now for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ולמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ומכון, וחיית כל בית ישראל בגלה ולזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם, ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא. בריחו לעילא לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתם, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם ביעלמל ואמרו אמן. Adonai sifatai tifta ufi agir tilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yaranai, Yaranai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohi Avotinu v'Imotinu Elohi Avraham Elohi Yitzchak Elohi Yaakov Elohi Sarah Elohi Rivka Elohi Leah v'Elohi Rachel Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah Elyon בחסדים טובים וקודמו הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה זוכרנו לי חיים, מלך החית בחיים, וחותמנו בספר החיים, למען חלוהים חיים, מלך עוזר, מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחייך כל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחייך כל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים רופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו ישרה יפה מחמוך אמר גבורות ומדומה לך מלך מית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה מחמוך אב הרחמים זוכי צורה ולחיים ברחמים למען אתה לחיות הכול ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכול
You may be seated, and we continue on page 262. Eternal God, let your presence be manifest to us in all your works, that reverence may fill the hearts of all your creatures. Make all your children mindful of your glory, that we may unite to do your will with perfect heart. For yours are dominion and power, and the impress of your hand is upon all that you have made. Grant honor to those who revere you, inspire with courage those who await for you, and fulfill the hope of all who trust in your name. Hasten the day that will bring gladness to all who dwell on earth, and victory of the Spirit to those who bear witness to your truth.
Then the just shall see and exult, the upright be glad, and his servants sing for joy. Then shall iniquity be made dumb, and wickedness vanish like smoke. For the dominion of arrogance shall pass away from the earth.
You alone shall reign over all your works, as it is written.
The Eternal One shall reign forever, your God, O Zion, from generation to generation. Hallelujah.
You are holy, awesome is your name, there is no God but you.
The God of all being is exalted by justice, the holy God is sanctified by righteousness.
Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh. Amen.
We render thanks to you that you have called us to your service, to bring the knowledge of your word to the four corners of the earth.
You have called us your servants to give faithful witness even in suffering and deprivation.
In this solemn hour, O God, we would draw near to you. May the observance of this Day of Atonement help us to remember Israel's sacred heritage. Teach us to build our lives on the abiding foundations of your law. Open our eyes to the goodness of life and its sacred opportunities for service.
O source of mercy, give us the grace to show
Forbearance to those who offend against us. When the wrongs and injustices of others around us, may our hearts not despair of human good. May no trial, however severe, embitter our souls and destroy our trust. When beset by trouble and sorrow, our mothers and fathers put on the armor of faith and fortitude. May we too find strength to meet adversity with quiet courage and unshaken will. Help us to understand that injustice and hate will not forever afflict the human race, that righteousness and mercy will triumph in the end. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and bring us near to your service that we may be worthy to proclaim your truth to all the world. Purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. For you, O God, are truth, and your word endures forever. Blessed is the Eternal One, who sanctifies the Sabbath, Israel, and the Day of Atonement.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam b'yovam tikaven Ultiliratson Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Avrecha
On page 267, our prayer of thanksgiving, we read together, "We gratefully acknowledge that you are our creator and preserver, the rock of our life and our protecting shield. We give thanks to you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are ever in your keeping, for your wondrous providence and your continuous goodness, which you bestow upon us day by day. Truly your mercies never fail, and your loving kindness never ceases. Therefore do we forever put our trust in you, O God. Let life abundant be the heritage of all the children of your covenant. Blessed is the eternal God, to whom our thanks are due."
We continue with Shalom Rav in the middle of page 267. You know the melody, so I hope you'll sing along with us.
Shalom al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam, ki ata u'melech adon v'yichud hashalom, ki ata u'melech adon v'yichud hashalom. Shalom al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. V'tovei necha divorech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשמך. Shalom al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom al Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
Let us read together. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands. And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Teach us, O God, to labor for righteousness and inscribe us in the book of life, blessing, and peace. Blessed is the eternal God, the source of peace. We have come to the first of what will be many silent moments within our service on Kol Nidre and throughout the entire day of Yom Kippur. Silence is often uncomfortable for us. If you look around in the modern world, whenever there is a moment of silence or an activity that has a stop in it, you will notice how quickly people pull out their cell phones to just fill the moments. No one quite knows what to do with the quiet and the steadiness. What happens when we're not supposed to talk to the person next to us or across from us? What happens when we're not supposed to listen to music, turn up the volume, tune out the rest of the world? Yom Kippur is a day about being uncomfortable. One is usually hungry, one is thirsty, one is irritable, one is cranky. There are a whole list, even more than the al-hates, of how uncomfortable we feel. And silence is just one more to add to the list. Perhaps that's why there are so many moments throughout the service, to give us time to find comfort with ourselves. After all, when it is so silent, the one we really don't want to communicate with is our own being. Because perhaps within we don't like what we hear, we don't like what we're doing, we don't like what we say, we don't like how we act. That's what this day is all about, the silence of looking within and finding the best that is to be brought forth, and therefore to make great noise in the world through all that we are proud of. We pause for our first moments of silence.
Ratzon Nidre Iul Ratzon Nidre Iul Lefanecha Adonai Tzuri V'Glo and the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you. O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. O say shalom bin Ramah. We are say shalom aleinu. Ve'al Israel. V'imiru, v'imiru. Amen.
On page 269, it is time for that part of our prayer service known as Vidui, the confession of sin. I'd ask you all to rise, please.
Eloheinu v'Elohe Avoteinu, tovu lefanecha tefilateinu. V'ol titzolam mitchinatenu. She'en anachnu hazefanim u'kshiur. Lama lefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu, tzadikim anachnu, v'lo chatanu.
Our God, God of our mothers and fathers, grant that our prayers may reach you. Do not be deaf to our pleas, for we are not so arrogant and stiff-necked as to say before you, our God and God of all ages, we are perfect and have not sinned. Rather do we confess, we have gone astray, we have sinned, we have transgressed. all have committed offenses together. We confess these human sins,
the sins of arrogance, bigotry, and cynicism, of deceit and egotism, flattery and greed, injustice and jealousy.
Some of us kept grudges, were lustful, malicious, or narrow-minded.
Others were obstinate or possessive, quarrelsome, rancorous, or selfish.
There was violence, weakness of will, and xenophobia.
We yielded to temptation and showed zeal for bad causes.
We have turned aside from your commandments and from your precepts, and it has not availed us. You are just whatever befalls us. You call us to righteousness, but we bring evil upon ourselves. What can we say before you who dwell on high? What shall we plead before you enthroned beyond the stars? Are not all things known to you, both the mysteries of eternity and the dark secrets of all that live? You search the inmost chambers of the heart and probe the deep recesses of the soul. Nothing is concealed from your sight.
Now may it be your will, O God of all generations, to forgive all our sins, to pardon all our wrongdoings,
And to blot out our transgressions.
Please be seated.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון.
The sin we have committed against you under duress or by choice.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה.
The sin we have committed against you consciously or unconsciously.
ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגלוי ובסתר.
And the sin we have committed against you openly or secretly.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהרהור הלב.
The sin we have committed against you in our thoughts.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדיבור פה.
The sin we have committed against you with our words.
ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד.
And the sin we have committed against you by the abuse of power.
ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו וחלנו כפר לנו.
For all these, O God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באימוץ הלב.
For the sin we have committed against you by hardening our hearts.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחילול השם.
The sin we have committed against you by profaning your name.
ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול הורים ומורים.
And the sin we have committed against you by disrespect for parents and teachers.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בלשון הרע.
The sin we have committed against you by speaking slander.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך במשא ובמתן.
The sin we have committed against you by dishonesty in our work.
ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהונאת רעם.
And the sin we have committed against you by hurting others in any way.
ועל כולם אלוהי סליחות, סלח לנו וחלנו כפר לנו.
Judaism is a faith of great practicalities, and even during the sacred day of Yom Kippur, even the Al Chet is said in unison 44 times in order to help all of us understand that teshuvah, repentance, can be overwhelming when done alone. That is why Yom Kippur is commemorated as a community. All of us have made so many mistakes that it's hard to know even where to begin. But together, we can give each other the courage and the strength to admit our faults and rectify our ways. And so we begin the second of our silent portions during this service, silent confession.
We continue in the bottom of page 278 with Shema Kolenu. Shema Kolenu, Adonai ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו. השיבנו אדוני אליך, השיבנו אליך ונשובה, חדש עם ימינו, ימינו.
Hear our voice, eternal God. Have compassion upon us, and with that compassion accept our prayer.
Help us to return to you, O God, and truly shall we return. Renew our days as in the past.
Consider our words, look into our inmost thoughts.
Do not cast us away from your presence. Do not remove your Holy Spirit.
Do not cast us away when we are old, as our strength diminishes. Do not abandon us.
Do not abandon us, eternal God. Do not be far from us.
For you, God, do we wait, and you, O God, will answer.
כי אנו עמך ואתה מלכנו, אנו בניך ואתה אבינו, אנו נחלתך ואתה גורלנו, אנו צונך ואתה
On page 280, we now continue with the Avinu Malkeinu, and to open the ark doors, it is a pleasure and honor to welcome forward Jeffrey and Lisa Silversheen, and I'd ask the congregation to rise, please.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu. Viol aleinu, vitapinu. Avinu Malkeinu, kalei derech, vicherev virah, mi'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, kalei chotzah, uvastin ve'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Ki Imanu Asim, Asim Anu, Zidaka Machesed, Asim Anu, Zidaka Machesed, Liosheinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Ki Imanu Asim.
You may be seated. This past year, several million refugees were forced to leave their personal, professional, and communal lives behind in order to escape war and famine. In our own country, many millions needed to evacuate the comfort of their surroundings quickly in order to flee the potential ravages of Mother Nature. Television and the internet gave us a window into the pain, the disbelief, and the heartache of those who had no choice but to pack up and leave. But what we did not witness was their decision-making process in what they would take with them on their journey, unsure if they would ever return to their homes again, and if they did, what would they salvage? For some, they could fill a car, or perhaps a suitcase. For others still, it was no more than what their pockets could hold. Being privy to these modern-day exoduses certainly raises questions about our own vulnerabilities. How fortunate most of us have been that when a change of location was called for, it involved moving trucks and the excited anticipation of the future. But this is in direct opposition to the plight of the evacuee, who often needs to take immediate action to save their lives. And in their haste, I wonder, what did they take with them when they had moments to flee? In these very uncertain times, I believe it is a question worth pondering for all of us. What would we bring that is closest to our heart? What would we pack that would add meaning and solace and comfort to our days? What would we want to save to give to our loved ones? On this Kol Nidre Eve, when tradition beckons us to stand before God stripped of all possessions in order to reveal clearly the inadequacies and deficiencies of our own characters, perhaps it is worth asking ourselves what belongings enhance the meaning of our days and which serve to burden and drain us of our time and our energies? Which of our goods highlight our true nature, and which assets hide our flaws? In short, what would we pack and what would we leave behind? So just for a moment, I want you to take a mental picture of your home or your homes and your surroundings. Are your closets bursting forth with things only to be given away and then replaced with newer items? How many rooms in your homes do we actually occupy? How many pairs of shoes crowd our shelves? How many toys fill our playrooms? And how much gym equipment collects dust? How many pieces of artwork adorn our walls? And how many dishes fill our cabinets? How many tools hang in the garage? Books crowd the shelves? And how much junk is in the basement? Of all these possessions, what would be worthwhile to take with us? The US government actually tries to assist us in our decision-making process. It posts a website that clearly delineates what is needed in the case of evacuation. The list includes what is called a go bag. It's to be filled with important documents, insurance papers, passports, medication, clothing, toiletry, first aid supplies, a battery-powered radio, and some cash. And at the bottom of the list is one item of sentimental value. The newspaper, the Daily Mail, recently asked new Syrian refugees to pose for a picture holding their most valuable asset. There was no direction given whether the item was sentimental in value or valuable in dollars. The items included a Bible, a Koran, a photo of one's husband, a lute, a bracelet, a wedding ring, a wheelchair, a diploma, a cell phone, a cane, a doll, and an only pair of jeans. It is a very sad reality that the time may very well come when each of us is forced to choose from among our things. Our Jewish ancestors in every generation have practiced the wisdom of Tevye the milkman to always have a bag packed and a hat on our heads. And yet never, ever did they have so much from which to choose. So in light of recent events, I believe that each and every one of us needs to challenge ourselves on this Kol Nidre Eve to determine what is so very important and meaningful in our lives that we are prepared to carry it wherever we go in the new year ahead. And so I am actually giving us all an assignment. on this, the holiest of days, it is to go home and identify the items that sustain the essence of our lives and define our most precious values. And then it is my hope that you will share your choices with me through email, through note card, or through phone message, so that I may compile a list to add to that of the U.S. government for our congregation. Maybe its contents will both inspire and remind us to want much less, to appreciate much more, and to cherish only the memorabilia that is worthy of our embrace. Amen. Our service continues now as we turn to page 282 for the Aleinu. It is an honor to call forward Debbie and Barry Scheinholz, and I'd ask everyone to rise, please.
עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ, ויאמרו יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמעו אחד.
I would ask that you please remain standing, for at this time, as we do each and every time we come together as a community, we remember those who are no longer physically present with us, but very much alive within our hearts and within our memories. Particularly on this Shabbat, we are cognizant of all those who are commemorating a yortzeit within our community, and we name those whose names are members of our families: Willie Arndt, Gladys Bleich, Len Brown, Jamie Elliott, George Epstein, Joseph Gans, Norbert Goldenberg, Herbert Green, Kenneth Leroff, Harry Milden, Esther Pardo, and Ruth Schwander. And we remember two who have been taken from our midst in most recent days: Doris Graf Notarius and Gloria Milder. Their names are added to all those whom we have loved and lost, those whose names are known to us and unknown to us. We always remember those of the American Armed Forces and the Israel Defense Forces who have given their lives in defense of our nation and the land of Israel. And as a Jewish community, we know that there are millions who have no one left to remember them. So we recite the Kaddish prayer as a community. Page 284. Yitgadal yitadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmat yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'hayechon v'yomechon v'chayet kol beit Israel, v'agalah v'zman kari v'miru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei amaya. Yitbarak v'yishtafak v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kedusha b'rechu. Le'olam im kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran v'alma v'miru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah mim shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. We pray that the source of peace will send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, as we all say, amen. You may be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. Shana Tova. Please Remember, as always, as you leave the sanctuary, to leave your prayer book either in your seat or in the holder in front of your seat. Please, as you leave, if you did not already, when you registered for your morning or afternoon service, make a donation to our Kol Nidre appeal, pick up a pledge card as you leave our sanctuary this evening. They are in the atrium. You may bring them back and place them in the tzedakah box that we have placed outside of the sanctuary, or hand them to an usher whenever you return tomorrow, or you can also mail them back to our temple office. In addition, as you leave, yard site candles are available for each family to take one home this evening and light in memory of your loved ones. Remember also, if you haven't already, because some folks did this evening, to bring back your grocery bags for the hungry in our community tomorrow morning. Our Yom Kippur services continue tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the morning service. In the sanctuary, we also have our 3- and 4-year-old holiday experience, as well as a K-2 grade holiday experience, and junior congregation, all at 9 a.m. If you selected the afternoon service, it begins at 12:15. All of those services are the same, but there is no junior congregation at 12:15. After the second service, our doors will remain open for congregants who wish to remain at temple, or if you'd like to return, from 3 to 4 before our Nila and afternoon service, we have a mitzvah day planned. There are 3 different mitzvahs that families can participate in together. They're going to help our goal of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. In addition, we'll have Dr. Razi Haimi Cohen, who's going to sit with anyone who is interested and explore the text of the Unatana Tokef. And finally, we'll also have music in our sanctuary for individuals who'd like to do further personal introspection. Again, we come back together at 4 for our Yizkor and Nila services. We'll end the day with our glow stick, Havdalah, and shofar chorus. So anyone who has a shofar, anyone at all, please feel free to bring it back and become part of our chorus. Please remember tomorrow that we will have both entrances open, but you do need your tickets. Security and your safety is our utmost concern. As you leave the parking lot tonight, please make sure you follow the arrows and exit only in one direction and be safe. On behalf of our clergy, our entire Board of Trustees, and our staff, we take this time to wish you and yours a happy, a sweet, and fulfilling New Year.
A special thank you to our choir, who always enhances our worship, as well as Amy on the cello and Nancy on piano. So I am very grateful for all of their presence. So we're going to conclude this evening with Adon Olam, page 47 in your Machzorim. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra yeh naso v'chefzo kol hazai melech shemo yikra v'yacharei kiflot hakol v'va'odu yimlok nora v'hu hayla v'hu oven v'hu yeh b'tif ara v'hu V'yein sheni להמשירו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא עוז והמשרה והוא החליט וצור חבלי ויצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו Afki bruchi, v'tishon v'yahira, v'bruchi gviati, Adonai li v'lo yira.
Would you rise, please? As we now have entered the day of Yom Kippur, allow us, please, O God, to have enough happiness that will keep us sweet, enough trials that will keep us strong, enough hope that will keep us happy, enough failure that will keep us humble, enough strength that will help us to find our voice, enough success to keep us eager, enough friends to keep us comfortable, enough wealth to just meet our needs, enough enthusiasm to look forward, enough faith to believe in you, and enough determination to make tomorrow better than today. Amen. Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom.
Lauren, thank you again. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. There. I'm going with you guys. You're going with us? It's beautiful. You're going to like it. Yeah, I saw I made the mistake of saying what's involved. They say you'll find out when you're on small. In some chair. But I do a little. Like that. I don't know, my family is a year, every year